Easy Explain Buddhist Philosophy, Attitude and Axiom. So here, based on chapter 1 of Walpola Rahula's text, the Buddhist attitude of mind, that's really what our context is going to be, that's what we're going to be considering. And from there, we're going to look at the main axiom of Buddhist philosophy, which is also known as the Four Noble Truths. We'll get there. So starting with this attitude, with this mindset, we're really considering humanity to be supreme, or at least having the potential to be supreme. Along from this mindset, we also have the idea that one, yourself, you, are your refuge. One is one's refuge. The rationality here is who else could be the refuge, right? We really need to learn how to, become that resource for ourselves. A key term here that we see is Tathagata in a lot of the teachings, a lot of the the parables, and that essentially translates to one who has discovered the truth, right? That's an honorific. That's a nice title to have. So what are you trying to fight against in discovering this truth, right? So there's 5 hindrances that are main known that could get in your way from you having this clear understanding of seeing this truth, of finding this truth, and really progressing to that point of becoming your own refuge, becoming supreme. Here they are. The first one is sensuous lust, right? So lusting. The second one is ill will, so just wishing bad upon yourself or others. The third is physical and mental torpor, right? So sloth, laziness, right? Just sitting around and doing nothing with no intention, right? Just laziness. Fourth one is restlessness, right? So it's the opposite extreme of never actually taking a moment to rest and meditate and think about yourself and who you are. And worry, right? Never worry about things. And doubt, right? We should be coming to clear understandings of the truth. We should be progressing towards that point. We should be very clear and focused and distinct on that and what our beliefs are in that sense. So speaking of those beliefs and our devotion to it, we have another term here. It's Shraddha. And my apologies if my pronunciations are a little off. But this is essentially the Buddhist faith, right? These are, within Buddhist philosophy, these are the beliefs that are doing away with that doubt, right? These are the beliefs we should be, very clear on and very enthusiastically for. So the first one is full and firm confidence and conviction that a thing is, right? Once you perceive it, once you realize it, do not doubt it. Second point here is serene joy, good qualities. Enjoy the little things, right? If something's good, take joy in it. Find peace in that joy. The third thing, aspiration to achieve goals that are within your view, right? So that kind of goes against that torpor above, right? It doesn't, this Buddhist philosophy, it doesn't mean, give up and relinquish things and stop trying as a human being. No, you still gotta go for those things. The fourth one, this is a big one, the truth has no label, right? We can't point to something and say, that is the truth. We start to see a little bit of a paradox in Buddhist philosophy in that case, especially once we get into the Zen tradition. They really lean into that and embrace it. The fifth one, no blind faith. That goes against, right, we're kind of rejecting the Hindu Vedic sacred texts here, which according to Buddhist philosophy required a blind faith. But here we really want to see our truths and we want to understand them, right? They should be very clear for us. We should be able to grasp them. Anybody should. We are going to practice non-attachment, no attachment even to the truth, right? Again, like this is just Buddhist philosophy and its practice is a means to an end, and once you get to that end, let it go. 7, imaginary speculations are useless. Big metaphysical questions, don't ask them, don't worry about them. If we can't come to a rational answer to them, they don't matter. And 8, maintain a practical attitude, right? Can do. If you can't do it, move on. Figure out a different way. Take it in stride. So this is just a little bit of the attitude, the mindset here in Buddhist philosophy. And that lines us up for the Fourfold Axiom, otherwise known as the Four Noble Truths. So these are truths that are fundamental to Buddhist philosophy, and we'll kind of go through them quickly here, and the rest of this series, the rest of this playlist, we'll take a closer look at each of them. But the first one is dukkha, and that's essentially, it's a symptom, right? And that's existential suffering. So at some point, it's not that all life is always suffering. It's just that at some point, it's essentially inevitable, right? Here in our life on Earth, at some point, you're going to come across this. The second noble truth is samudaya, and this is like a diagnosis, right? So what's going on with that suffering and why? Well, it's because we have this thirst, and it's not just like you're hot or dehydrated and need some water. it's more so existential, right? You want more. You're trying to quench something through action, and you're striving, maybe needlessly or senselessly, towards some endpoint. Um, the Buddhist philosophy also points back to Atman, the Hindu concept of Atman as your soul. And a lot of people are trying to, they're thirsting and striving to exist permanently. They want to have this self-preservation anchor them for eternity. And that's a problem for Buddhist philosophy. So here we see this counter concept of anatman, or no self or no soul, because really we're seeing thirst manifesting as this sense of self. If you think I this, I that, there's thirst inherent in that concept, inherent in that thought, and that's causing your suffering because you're so identified with that. The third noble truth is nirodha. That's the prognosis, right? So we're going to start looking ahead here. We have this diagnosis, we have this symptom. What are we going to do about it? We're going to try to eliminate that desire. We're going to try to eliminate that thirst. So sometimes this is translated as being the same thing as nirvana. Based on your translation, I mean, you might see it as a slightly different concept, a slightly different meaning. But for now, if you're familiar with what that might mean, adopt it for now. We'll circle back to that a little bit later. But essentially, this is the eliminating of your desire, the eliminating of your thirst, and from that, you will eliminate your suffering. And finally, the fourth noble truth is magga, and that is the prescription, right? So we have the symptom of suffering, we've been diagnosed with having this thirst, this wanting drive. The prognosis is that, we got to try to eliminate this. But how do we do it? What's the treatment? What's the prescription? And this is something that's going to be called the Noble Eightfold Path. It's 8 practices that set us on the middle way. You may have heard this referred to as the middle way before, right? It's in moderation. It's not going to be extreme at all. And if we follow that, we will get to the end of our suffering. More on that in the next video. For now, I hope this helped.